Hello, everyone. Welcome to UAE Achievers Talkshow Season 3. And I'm back again with another exciting episode with a very special guest, Mr. Satyen Babla, who is a multiple business owner with Dance and Zoho Preneurs. And he's also the executive director of New Dubai BNI. So let's understand more from him. Welcome, Mr. Satyen. How are you?
Very well. Thank you, Arul, for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for giving your precious time to us.
Anytime.
The first conversation that I remember doing with you earlier on was also about how you are born and brought up in Dubai. Did I hear that right? Number 40. 40 years in Dubai.
Yes, I'm turning 40 this year and it's been a great journey. We have a lot of kids now that have been born and brought up in Dubai. And it's a very exciting journey personally and in terms of geographically, right? We've seen so much happen in Dubai, in UAE, and we've seen things change. You know, sometimes when I drive down to Bar Dubai and Karama, you're like, oh, I used to live in this building. I was born in this building. And things are so different. And, you know, the growth of Dubai kind of inspires us and keeps us on the run. So I feel blessed to be born over here.
Amazing. You must have seen great transitioning in Dubai, right? Dubai back then and Dubai now. I mean, what do you like most? Do you miss some of the things back then?
Yeah, I mean, of course, see, as a kid, you will really have special memories, right? And those memories are not tied to success or fame or money or any of that, right? So things like, oh, I used to go to that grocery store and buy that lollipop or buy that ice cream. And sometimes some of those places are still there. You know, I remember as a kid, we used to love going to this restaurant called Capri, which is an Italian place next to World Trade Center. It's been there since 1981, even before I was born. And it's still there, right? So, you know, places like this, Sindh, Punjab, Bar, Dubai, like we've grown up there. So these places are still there and the memories you have with them are very, very special. Even though you have the fanciest restaurants that you go to regularly, but those places have a different charm.
Mm-hmm. And then I think you studied from SP Jain. Dubai is such a renowned place. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was not easy. So I did my executive MBA from there, which was basically you work and you study at the same time.
Okay.
And at that time I was working in Belhassa Group. Mm-hmm. So I'd work from 8 to 5, 8 to 6. Then I would drive to Academic City. 7:15 every day in the evening, the classes would start. They would get over at 10:45. And that was 6 days a week. So that time, Friday was off. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we had classes. So you would literally work from 8 to 5, 8 to 6, and then drive to SPJN. And then from 7:15 to 10:45, be there. And then after your class, you'd get over some discussion, some assignments, some projects, and you'd get home by about 12.
Yeah.
And again, just next day morning at 8, you had to work 6 days a week. So it was quite intense. And it took me a while to complete my MBA. I don't think many people know this, but it took me 11 years.
What are you saying?
To complete my MBA. So I started, the first year I was very committed. Mm-hmm. Then I had multiple transitions in my life in terms of new businesses. My sister was getting married. I got divorced. There's so much going on in my life that I would try to go back. And then again, after a couple of months, I had to take a break and go back in a break and go back in a break. And finally, after 11 years, I was lucky enough to complete it and put my dissertation in. They accepted it. And yeah, it was an interesting, long journey.
Wow, 11 years. Oh my God. But I'm sure that means you have learned executive MBA maybe more and, you know, maybe properly and, you know, all of that. It is in your blood now, maybe.
100% more than any other student, because what would happen was, let's say I did a year and I finished about these credits.
Yeah.
But I would go back after a couple of years, they would say, from these credits, these are gone. You have to do these courses again. Now they're new credits. So I've done so many extra courses. I've been lucky enough to get that extra knowledge throughout. And it's been interesting because even things change. Like in 10 years, all your management principles evolve. Finance gets better. Technology gets better. So I've been lucky enough to learn for a long time.
Amazing. Love the positive aspect though. Talking about, I think your dad was running a marketing agency. And then I think you were with, you were in a family business, helping your dad with his business, right? How was that experience? Family businesses to me are very tricky, but I want to know your take on it.
They absolutely are. There's no doubt about that. But I think anybody who's in a family business experiences that. So mom and dad both were in the business.
Okay, great.
And it was the business was more than a decade old. Mm-hmm. And I joined and I came in much later, right? So it's been a decade and everything is set. And I'm coming in with these new ideas and new tech that I want to implement, and they have their way of operating. I think the biggest difference between two generations in a family business is where the elder generation is focusing purely on revenue and profit. And I think the younger generation, along with profit, is also focusing on operational ease. So I think the younger generations understand work-life balance and they want operational ease. हाँ काम करना है but 24 घंटे काम नहीं करने, right? Their focus is how can I digitize this? How can I put better processes to make life easy? And I think the previous generation is what can I do to increase my profit, irrespective of to work 48 hours a day also, right? So I think that was the biggest challenge with regards to just juggling the operational ease and processes versus only profits.
Right. Wow. Amazing. And I heard that they are now chilling and they're having fun and all of that. I'm sure they are just hi to them, possibly. So now that we want to talk to you about the community is full of entrepreneurs, right? There are small, medium entrepreneurs. There are small business owners, medium business owners, and stuff like that. I have one question, and I don't know if it's also coming from a personal agenda to understand how are you able to successfully run two businesses together and with the entire BNI thing also going on. Please break it down for us. How is it possible? I want to understand. If you ask me, I'm struggling with one business itself. So I don't know how you do it. Tell me.
So first of all, I feel I'm very blessed. Let's start with that. I feel I'm extremely lucky. But if I have to break it down, right, you're looking at two broad things that really make my life easy. One is we have the right team members, right? I love my team and hopefully they love me, hopefully. But I love my team, right? And they're phenomenal. And we have members who've been with us for like 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, and they're still with us.
Wow.
So having the right people on board makes a massive difference who understand your values, your philosophies, and want the best thing for you and your organization and for themselves, right? So one is having the right people on the right chairs. The second one is having the right processes and systems in place. And that's where a lot of people fail. They fall off the track, whether you don't have the right processes. And it's cyclical, right? So if I have the right processes, I get the right people, or the wrong people become the right people because we have the right processes.
Yeah.
Or if I have the wrong people, the processes don't work. So it's a cycle, right? It's your people and your processes, like we say, the important piece of business. Of course, there is passion as well in it, right?
Yes,
So there's
of course.
people, there's processes, there's passion. For me, everything that I do is passion-based, right? Dance was an amazing passion. And it became a business. I'm very passionate about Zoho. You know that. Everyone knows that,
Everybody.
right? And that's become a business. I'm passionate about BNI. It's in my blood, right? So because you're so passionate, it doesn't necessarily seem like a lot of work because you enjoy doing it. But at the end, you need to have a strong team and you need to have processes. So if you're a solopreneur, for all the solopreneurs out there, if you're a solopreneur, you need to do number one, identify what are the things that I'm doing that is not necessarily adding revenue to my organization, but is important. Number two, try and delegate that, outsource that, get a team member so you can focus on high impact tasks that bring in growth and revenue.
Having said that, Satyen, I know you're making it sound very easy, but it's a very tough job, guys. How are you able to multitask? Because each one of us have only 24 hours. Right. So how are you able to do it so nicely?
So first of all, I have a brilliant executive assistant who manages my calendar. She's phenomenal. She ensures that every minute I spend is value-based, right? It's value-driven. Her primary job is to ensure that if somebody else can do something, they do it so it doesn't come on Satyan's desk, right? That's a primary job. It starts off by managing my calendar, and on a weekly basis, she assesses how much time have I spent in, number one, revenue generating activities, number two, revenue impacting activities, and number three, non-revenue generating activities. Once she knows that, her job is to try and delegate or outsource the non-revenue generating so I can focus on that too. You don't have to have an assistant to do that for you. You can do it yourself as well. Go to your calendar. Today, check what am I doing that in terms of I spent 9 hours working today. Great. First of all, if you spend 9 hours working, you'll only have an account for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Baki 3 ghante call, traveling, it'll just vanish. So I've only worked for 6 hours. Okay, great. From 6 hours, these 4 meetings were literally internal, non-revenue generating. I've only spent 2 hours actually, probably one-to-one that was revenue impacting, and one client meeting that was revenue generating. So now you realize from 9 hours, I've only spent 2 hours actually revenue generating and revenue impacting, right? When you identify that, multitasking also becomes easier because even the multitasks that you're doing all are high impact tasks. So go analyze your calendar and then identify what tasks you want to do, what you don't want to do. Of course, there is a financial element to delegate or outsource, but that happens consciously with time. But once you know that, hey, these tasks add great value, you're happy to multitask because you know if I do this for BNI today and this for Zoho Preneurs and this for dance and this for my personal investments, it's going to add growth. It becomes easier. You also feel more satisfied and successful doing the right things at the end of the night, saying, yes, I've achieved the most important things for today. So it's all about identifying what you're not doing right and delegating and getting it off your plate so you can multitask and do the right things right.
Wow, I think these are just some golden insights for each one of us. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. While you're here, it makes all the more sense to understand each one of your businesses, right? So
Right.
I want to talk about your first business first, which is dance. Also, why? Because before I got to know you in BNI, I already knew you. Being an event management company, there was some association that we'd had with dance, very successful associations in past. Take us through that journey. How was dance? What does dance do?
Dance was very interesting and is where over 12 years old, still running successfully, but I'm entirely off operations from dance. Thankfully, we have an amazing team, like I mentioned earlier. But dance was very interesting because what I expected before I started dance and what happened in dance were totally different things. Before dance, I was freelancing for a couple of years in the evening as a choreographer, performer, while I was working in dad's business, right? I had the flexibility. It was dad's business. I could walk out whenever I wanted. So I was doing a lot of freelancing stuff and I was like, you know what? People love me. I enjoy this. I'm very passionate. I'm very hardworking and I'm an amazing choreographer. At least people used to say that. So I was like, I'll be super successful when I start my own dance studio. That was the expectation. The reality was so far from it. It was miles and miles apart because yes, I am a great choreographer and I do a fabulous job in class while I choreograph or conduct a class. But what I didn't realize was as a business owner, that's not the only thing you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to do marketing, finance, operations, admin, legal, and God knows what not. And I had no experience to manage all these other things. So the first learning that really hit me hard was just because you're good at doing something does not mean you're going to be good at doing a business of that thing. Which means just because you're a great chef does not mean you're going to be great at running a restaurant. They're two different things. Just because you're a great dancer does not mean you will be a great studio owner. And that was a big learning for me. I think once that hit in, things got easier because I realized, okay, you know what, I'm not good at this and I need to start learning and getting better. I need to get a couple of mentors, do a couple of courses. And that's where things started changing when you start realizing that, hey, I don't know everything and I need to do this better. I need to understand how finance works better, understand how marketing works better. And I got a beautiful tip from one of these books that I was reading that said, when you hire someone, ensure that they know more than you, right? And for the first 5 6 years, I didn't do that in my business, but that sentence hit me like a big hammer on my head, right? It's like you need to hire someone who knows more than you, and I was like, that just makes sense because if I hire somebody in marketing who knows as much as me or less than me because I want to feel like I'm the boss,
Yeah.
they're not going to add value because they will do what I know and I can do the same thing. But only when they know more than me in that particular category, they can overpower and take us to the next level. So that was a massive realization. I think that was the turning point for me, where I realized I need to get people on board who are more creative than me, who have a better understanding of finance, better understanding of marketing, better understanding of operations. And that changed this whole struggle of running a business to enjoying running a business.
Wow. I can relate it so much because I just started a community and that was never a business. So then I'm in that transition of, I still call myself transition even 5 years down the line because it's very interesting how to then you turn it into a business. So I can, completely relate with what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. We used to do a lot of stuff. So we still do high-end productions and shows. We still do H&I, ultra elite wedding entertainment, right? We still do all of this, which we were doing back then also. But now it's become so much more easy and so process-driven with the right teams. And I know when I send somebody out there to meet my most important client, I'm not stressed because I know they know it better than me.
Yeah.
Right? They do it better than me, and that's a great feeling to have. Right? In the beginning, you feel like, oh my God, they know more than me. What if they start their own company? What if they do this? And that will happen. That's a part of business. But the comfort in just sitting back at home and probably watching Netflix when you know 5 shows are going on and they're very happy, clients are happy, and I'm getting thank you messages. It's a whole different feeling altogether.
Yeah, yeah. And I think personally, I can talk about my experience with your company, and that's coming from a first-hand experience where so professional staff, and I remember it doing while a corporate event, while hosting a retail event, and your side performers have done such a fantastic job. And then even the process of inquiring and then making sure performers come on time and doing a fantastic job. It was such a flawless thing. So kudos to you and your team on
Thank
that,
you.
Satyen. And one thing, more so in BNI, even outside, I feel, now when I think of Satyen, I think of Zoho. And I know many of you are going to, relate with me on that. Amazing job, well done on the brand registration, by the way.
Thank you.
Coming from a marketing agency. But take us through the Zoho Preneurs. I mean, what do you guys do? Again, a little bit story there. How was the journey?
So this journey started purely from passion. Dance used to run on Zoho CRM, and it's still running on Zoho CRM.
Wow.
About almost a decade now. I'm assuming 8 years, around 8 years, 9 years. So I was very passionate about Zoho, and I should go and tell all my friends and customers and suppliers, guys, we should run on Zoho. Zoho's amazing. We do Zoho, we do Zoho, we do Zoho. And many people back then were like, you talk more about Zoho than about dance, right? I was so passionate about it. And COVID came along. Of course, events, you know what happened
Yes,
with events, right?
absolutely.
We were absolutely free. And a few friends said, you're so passionate about Zoho, why don't you start a Zoho implementation agency? And again, like I spoke about, just because I'm passionate about Zoho does not mean I will be great at running a Zoho business, right?
Yeah.
But I had learned already from dance that I need to work on these elements. So I reached out to Zoho, tried to get an agency. They guided us through. They said, this needs to happen, these certifications, these team members, etc., etc. All of that happened, right? This was about 5 years ago. And we became a partner with them. And all because somebody in the community, in the BNI community said, why don't you become a Zoho partner? So it started off from there. What we primarily do is we help businesses increase their sales and get operational efficiency, ease of operations into their business by implementing a fabulous strategy-based CRM. So the things that we will do is we'll help you secure the licenses. We understand your customer journey, digitize the whole thing, automate the whole thing, give you the right reports and dashboards so you can see how your business is functioning, and then train your team members to use it and support you. That's what we do.
I'm going to ask you one very, I don't know, it might be a very common question for you, but there's so many apps now, right? We have Udo, there's so much more that I know, right? So why Zoho?
Fantastic. So I'm going to take a step back and say not just why Zoho, I'm saying any app that you want to use, right? The success of that app primarily depends on your implementation partner, right? So whatever I take, whichever app I take, right? Of course, I feel Zoho is phenomenal. But to be fair to everyone, whatever app you take, whichever partner implements that for you, how focused, how committed, how knowledgeable, how experienced they are makes a massive difference. Because you could have the best software, but if your implementation partner doesn't do a fair job, it's not going to run well. So why I love Zoho is because, first of all, the partners of Zoho, me and other partners, right? We go through a lot of training and learning on how to be better. There's a lot of certifications. There's a lot of community connection with Zoho, which makes us more efficient in implementing it. So the reason I say Zoho is because, first of all, you have control over your data. You own your data. Zoho believes in empowerment, right? So if you go back to other softwares earlier, let's say you had an accounting software that was not on cloud, your accountant knew how to run it, you couldn't manage it because you weren't trained in it, you're dependent on your accounting team for reports. When Zoho comes in, they give you empowerment. As an owner, you open your app, click report, you get whatever you need. So you're not dependent on anybody. So empowerment is one big aspect. And second is the knowledge of the implementation partners and the passion of the implementation partners is why Zoho and Zoho Preneurs both stands out in the market. One biggest factor that Zoho Preneurs has that other people don't necessarily have is the fact that we run our businesses on Zoho. So when you go and say, hey guys, I'm selling you Zoho, but let me show you, I run my business on Zoho. This is my active account. let me give you a demo on not a demo account, but my live system. That just changes the confidence our partners and our customers have on us because they're seeing us use it. Right. So I say, hey, we met yesterday, I added you on the CRM. Here's when I added you, see created time. You got an email, you got a WhatsApp, you got an SMS, we blocked a meeting, the meeting is here, my notes are here, and they're just blown away with how we use it. So because we use it so well and we are a customer of Zoho and a partner, and we do demos on our live account, is what just makes us stand out and people just look at us and think Zoho. And I think we've done a fair job at that.
Yeah, you've done a fantastic job. And all those of you who don't know about it, please reach out to Satyen, and I'm sure he can make your life easy. I want to take a step back and understand from you. You didn't had an experience in setting up a business for a dance studio or Zoho Preneurs. And there are so many people around, in the community, and I know them personally as well, who have the passion, want to do something, don't know how to run the business. Where do they start from?
So I believe passion is a very big part, right? If you are passionate, if you're truly passionate, you have a much higher chance of being successful in that business, right? But staying in touch with the ground reality is important that, hey, if I'm passionate about this, does not mean I'll be great at this. Getting a mentor, very important, right? If you get a mentor, you save years and years of mistakes that you will do because your mentor will guide you. So if you're really passionate and you want to get into it, first of all, get a mentor. Second is learn to balance your emotions. Right? I made some massive mistakes in dance because I was so emotional about it, right? I remember when COVID came, we had about 5 studio spaces. And letting go of that space was such an emotional decision that I just could not take it at the right time. And I had a massive impact on my cash flow because emotions, right? Emotions. Humans are emotional beings.
Absolutely.
So learn to balance your passion and emotion because you are there for profit. It's a business at the end of the day. Get a mentor, learn to balance your emotions, and always keep an open mind for learning. Because if you're not willing to learn, it's not going to work. Even today, after being in 5 years and being among the top 5 partners for Zoho, we're still learning new things every day and changing and implementing new things, right? So that attitude will make a massive difference. So mentor, learn to balance your emotions, and be open to learning, and you will surely get successful if you're passionate enough.
That's amazing. And now you're in my favorite topic, the love for BNI, right? You have the entire region of New Dubai for yourself as an executive director. And I'm sure you have a great ladder up story. So first, I'm interested to understand more for the audience also. Satyen, what is BNI in your language? And how did you achieve, what you achieved in BNI today?
So for me, BNI is very emotional, right? That's a whole different story altogether. I joined BNI at a very difficult stage in my life, and it was phenomenal. So that's a different story. But for those who don't know what BNI is the world's largest and most successful referral organization, which means we network, we get to know each other, we get to like each other and trust each other, so that when somebody in my network wants her services, I can refer her, and we give referrals, we help each other grow, and that's what BNI is. For me, now it's a different story, right? For me, what BNI is passion, BNI is an emotion, BNI is not a business, right? I think about BNI and I get goosebumps always because I know the impact BNI has had on my journey. To give you context, right?
Yes.
When I joined BNI, I was going through my divorce. My parents were not very happy with that, and I decided to move out. And I was living in a sharing apartment in Dubai. When I joined BNI, business was in my second year of dance. We were not profitable yet. I didn't have a lot of cash because we were always in a family. So
Yeah.
ghar ki gaadiyan, ghar ka business, ghar ka accounts. It was all a different life altogether. And I was at my life's lowest when I joined BNI. And the biggest thing that stood out for me was when I went to BNI, nobody judged me based on my success or failures. Nobody said, hey, your business is in liabilities right now, we're not going to talk to you. Hey, you've not succeeded in your personal life or in your personal marriage, and we are going to treat you like this. It was a very different experience. Like nobody there cared about my failures or my successes. All they cared about was how much effort I was putting in that community. And that was eye-opening for me because everybody at that point in my life was treating me based on something else. Oh, his business is not doing well, we're going to treat him like this. His marriage is not doing well. He's not living with his parents. His finances are not doing well. So it was very different because that they just didn't care. And it was so refreshing to meet a group of people who didn't care.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care as to what's happening in your life. You're here, you're putting the effort, we're going to support you. And that was what just changed my entire life. And from there, I remember living in a sharing to getting your first 1 BHK to a 2 BHK to a 3 BHK to a villa in Jumeirah.
Wow.
And now we're living on Sheikh Zayed. It's just a whole different
Super.
life, right? So 10 years ago, if you would ask me, Satyen, can you even imagine that you would be living this life? It just was something that my brain couldn't even comprehend that this is possible. It is possible to achieve this and be where I am. But I think BNI made that possible. So I can talk about hours and hours for this. So I'm going to hand it over back to you.
No, I want to understand more. I want to go a little bit more deeper, Satyen, because I can feel now like BNI is an emotion. I'm just 3 years into the system. And of course, I value a lot of referrals and business, and who doesn't want that, right? But the ecosystem that we create here, the friendships we create here, the trust we create here, entrepreneurship is such a lonely journey. I mean, and you can't share your struggles. You need to be in the system to be able to, understand this. And there's a reason why both of us are so passionate, and he is quite successful in doing all what he's doing. But talk about while you were building the region and, how are things and why. So 2 aspects for you. One, your journey of building the region. And second, also take us through why should any entrepreneur join BNI?
Fantastic. Building the region has been a lot of fun, right? Because I know what I have received and I think it's time to give back. And I see so many entrepreneurs, and it's not even about how successful they are, but the challenges that they face and how lonely they are, right? And we feel if we can add value, that's just, there's nothing better to do, right? There's no way of giving back than adding value to someone's life. So in terms of growing the region, we've doubled the region in the last 2 years. I'm very, very happy about that. We have 9 running chapters. We have a couple of core groups. The community is more than 300 people, and that's phenomenal, right? I also get this question a lot. Say, you're only 300?
Yeah.
We have 5,000 in this network or 10,000 in this community. And my standard response is, these are 300 members who I know personally.
Right.
So it's not a huge WhatsApp group that has 5,000 people and nobody knows me.
Yeah.
I know these members on a personal level. I know that tomorrow if I have a challenge, each and every one, or at least 75% of them will be standing outside my door to support me. So the impact that this community is creating, irrespective of the numbers, is much higher than other communities with thousands and thousands of members who are just there for namesake would create.
Yeah.
So coming back to the journey, right? I got to meet so many people and I got to connect with so many people. And of course, referrals and business is a byproduct of that.
Sure.
That just happens on the side now, of course, after 10 years in the system, right? But the whole concept of how can I help you? It's that one question that changes everything for someone's life, because I've had people who come in as visitors and say, hey, nobody's ever asked me that. I'm like, great, I'm asking you, tell me how can I help you? And they're so shocked that they just don't know what to say, right? And I think that one question, it changes everything. That's what makes BNI, that concept of wanting to give with no expectations. Your second part was, if you are not a part of the BNI community, why should you be a part of the BNI community, right? So people join for business and stay back for the relationships. I'll repeat that, very important. People join for the business and stay back for the relationship, number 1. And number 2, this is my favorite quote of BNI, which says, BNI is for everyone, but not everyone is for BNI.
Wow. Okay.
Right? BNI is for everyone. BNI will add value to everyone, but not everyone is for BNI. Everyone is not made to be a part of BNI because it is difficult. Time, effort, energy, it's not easy. If you are not part of BNI, I think the question you want to ask yourself is, do you have a group of people who really care for you and will stand up in every problem you have, irrespective of what's going on in your life? Right? Do you have a group of people? If your answer to that is yes, I have my friends, I was born over here. Great. My next question to you is, how often do you meet them? I meet my BNI members more than I meet my parents. because we meet every week. Plus, we have socials, we have trainings, we have everything else, right? How often do you meet your friends? And that's a big realization questions where they feel like, oh, even though I have these 18 friends that we chill together, we were in college together, school together, we walk all over here. How often do you meet them is a big realization question. We're trying to build a community of people who know you, who like you, who care for you, and want to see you grow, which is not common, right? Even if you have a lot of friends, not necessarily all your friends know in detail what you do. It's not important that they've even given you a referral. When was the last time your friends gave you a referral, right? So it's about having that community that cares for you, that really wants to go out and say, hey, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And there's no better way than experiencing it. So come in for a meeting, come in and experience it, and then you can decide for yourself.
Absolutely. And a successful case is sitting right in front of you also, which can talk about, referrals or business, building personal relationships, that entire ecosystem. If you felt any point in time like I felt I was a very lonely entrepreneur, please, come join us. You can inquire with either one of us, myself or Satyen, and we are ready to have you in the meeting. So, in the benefit of time, unfortunately, I'll have to let you go because it's so lovely talking to you. But before you go, I'm sure there are many reasons why would community members want to reach out to you, whether it's your business dance or Zoho Preneurs or, BNI. How can they reach out to you?
So LinkedIn is the easiest. Just look me up, Satyen, Satyen Babla, Babla, and you'll find me right there. I am fairly active on LinkedIn. My team manages Instagram and other profiles as well. So wherever you reach me, you will get a response. But LinkedIn is the easiest, right? So I'm happy to connect. I also do a lot of mentoring and I do a lot of talks on entrepreneurship and networking. So you can look me up over there as well. And I'm happy to help and mentor anybody who needs help. I do a lot of one-to-ones still, even though I don't belong to a chapter and I run the region. I could easily do between 5 to 8 one-to-ones a week.
Wow.
So if you're keen to connect, I'm happy to help in any way possible. And of course, this will be a two-way conversation. I'm sure you'll also add value to me and I'll learn something from you. So LinkedIn is great.
Super. So guys, what we are sitting here today is on a gold mine. Satyen Babla's access is not so easy to get, so grab that opportunity. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for your valuable time that you've given today. Not just because you're from BNI, not just because I know you from Dance and Zoho Preneurs. It's the journey that you have lived and the success that you've achieved is beyond words. I am so happy that you accepted the offer to be on the podcast, and it's so lovely chatting with you today. And I will try, I'm not committing, guys, but if I'm able to convince Satyen, I'll try and arrange event in the Expats Hub where Satyen could give us some mentoring tips.
It will be my pleasure. Thank you for considering me worthy and thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much, Satyen. Thanks a lot. So guys, that was Satyen Babla, multiple business owner, Dance and Zoho Preneurs, and also the executive director of New Dubai BNI. It's so wonderful knowing his story and his struggles, yet being so successful. For more such interesting stories, stay tuned.